Greetings, fellow outsiders. Last time, when we started this new little chapter, we got some new mechanics, at least for the investigation, so I'm curious if that's going to bleed over at all into the trial. So let's get started. February 23rd, 9:34 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby, number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there were still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Skye, you remind me a lot of Mia. There's one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. Why did she look offended by that? She knows that. The first trial without Faye helping me. No one's going to be able to bail me out this time. Hi! I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be in there with you the whole time. She's got a cute outfit. I like the outfit. It's like a doctor's jacket, but fashion. February 23rd, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. A lab coat is what I meant to say. Oh, it feels so good to be back. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since the trial. I haven't been able to stop thinking about you, Edgeworth. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, personal feelings? Are we talking about romance? I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment is to be made here in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office. Parking lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Star, to the stand. The cough-up queen? Wow. She's so fashionable. Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Ho ho, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a fiesta bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Oh, and you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It's too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. I missed you, Edgeworth. Me? The name is Angel Star, and don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Star was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Star was a detective? I know who you are. Cough up? Cough up Queen Angel Star, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Star. Just who is this lady? Yeah, everybody knows her. If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the two blocks. I suppose that's to keep the visitors from taking up prosecutor's spaces, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block, in the car's trunk. The victim stabbed the victim, or the killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot.
And who was this valiant witness?
Why, it was me, Your Honor.
Parking lot with Edgeworth's car added to the court record. Witness, did you see a very moment of the crime?
Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor.
Seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, I can't agree on your principle, Your Honor.
It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining?
If you can, then, give them your worst, Miss Starr.
Wait, are they talking about me?
Phoenix is so funny. Witness testimony. Alright, let's do it.
Somehow, I always knew a tale like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective intuition at work.
Uh-oh.
Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garnished car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into the Detective Goodman's chest.
Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend? How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman.
So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed?
I'm still thinking about that.
It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright.
Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Cross-examination! Let's do it. Alright, first things first, we press on everything. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to press. Press? There we go. How did you know?
I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy.
The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted.
Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that.
Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors?
I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one.
Laid off? She was fired.
To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless.
Very well, you may continue, Miss Starr.
I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend.
Oh wait, I need to know who your boyfriend is. Go back! Go back, Miss Starr! Hold it! This boyfriend, he's, the detective?
Not that boyfriend. The security guard.
That boyfriend? You have several?
Yes. This boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? And the yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants.
I'll stick with the lunches, thanks.
Note to self, the judge has to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot in Block A. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there.
I'll be the room with the security sign. We've never been up there. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car?
Since I am a visitor now, I parked in B block.
So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime.
When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective intuition at work.
You sensed something? So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder?
It felt like... How would you say? Oh, yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds.
I have no idea what that means. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodman, also a detective?
Yes, well, he was like a young cheese.
A young cheese?
A pale white cheese, not yet tangy, with the experience on the streets. A greenhorn.
Then it must be hard. Then I must be hard, yellowed, and sharp as a tack.
Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match. In any case, in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garnished car.
Through the wire? By the garnished car, you mean...
Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes.
Mr. Edgeworth's?
Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's, wasn't it?
Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant?
I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I'm certain it was her.
If she's telling the truth, we're doomed.
Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick.
Witness, in your testimony you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness.
Well, you might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie.
Huh? Rookie?
Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me.
I love her hair.
I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside and chewy on the inside.
That was inspiring. The judge needs to stop falling in love with the witnesses, I swear. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. Could you cry plagiarism?
I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed.
A photograph? You took this?
The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera.
I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now? He didn't know?
You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs.
Well, this is most certainly the defendant. The moment of the crime photographed by Angel Star. I don't see any body, though. Uh-oh, that is unmistakably Lana Skye. So, what was the defendant doing at the time?
The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand.
Hold it? Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying.
Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Isn't that right, Mr. Edgeworth? Is it your knife after all?
Yes, that's about right.
Prosecutors are by nature well versed in the location of a man's vital organs.
I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can testify as her ability to kill a person.
Oh, perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor?
So the defendant was holding a knife. What then?
Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into the Detective Goodman's chest.
Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point.
Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late.
Too late?
Yes, the next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon.
I see.
It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless.
Sounds pretty fatal to me.
What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty?
Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking right next to me makes me calmer.
Don't smile like that.
Okay, somehow I always knew a day like this would come. So I've already pressed all of these, then that probably means that I have to present something, right? Do I present this? Because it says the moment of the crime photographed by Angel Star, but there's no knife. So, does this count as something? I don't know, I'm nitpicking here, like Phoenix said. And you witnessed this? You saw Miss Skye stab the victim with the knife.
As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch.
I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? And why is Miss Skye not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. It had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph is not taken at the moment before the stabbing. This was taken at the moment after the stabbing. And how can you tell that?
Blood splatter.
Huh?
See the dark crimson stains at the chief prosecutor's coat?
But it's a black and white photograph. Yes, it is hard to tell, but it could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you.
Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse?
You got a better idea? Objection! No problem! Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony, namely that she took the picture at the moment she witnessed the crime.
Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies.
That's it?
If you run out of lunch, you'll order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but I did have time to stop her. Prosecutor Skye was cold, calculating like a robot. She killed without pain and remorse. It was a premeditated murder.
Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. Oh, Edgeworth, you're so close. Whoa! These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation.
Premeditated murder, a serious offense.
Witness, add this to your testimony.
The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it.
Hold it! What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? Objection! The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies.
In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder, is the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime.
Oh! Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She's got them thinking it was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. Gotta think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated.
It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it.
Oh, is it the knife? I figured it would have to be against the last statement because it was Edgeworth's and not hers, but maybe she was trying to frame Edgeworth. That's probably what they're gonna say. But let's present it anyways. Witness, do you know what this is?
Are you trying to test me? I sell boxed lunches for a living, you know.
That's a knife.
The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk.
Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody... Whoa, I didn't mean to skip over that. The defendant is the chief... Oh, wait. Wait, what? Wait. Were those the mumbles? I totally missed him. They went by... They clicked through it before I could read it. The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony.
What's that, rookie?
In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon?
Oh.
This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon.
Oh, whoa!
Order. Great, now the tide is turning in our favor.
Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister is as good as free.
Tis. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah! Prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing that the prosecution needs to prove, nothing else.
Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't planned, why would she have been wearing...
I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought.
How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated.
Really now? Alright, another testimony! Part 3. Let's do it.
Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again.
How did she know that she called him? The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it?
So, if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy?
In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Cross-examination. Let's do it. And we're gonna press like we always do. Hold it. You've said that, but you haven't told us how you know.
That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie.
I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she's about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again.
Rookie. Never interrupt a storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of the oven half-baked.
Something's half-baked here, alright, and it's you. Try not to confuse the defense witness. They're not very quick on their feet. Now, why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim?
Her actions speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office.
Hold it! You have no proof that Miss Skye called him there.
You have no proof that she didn't.
Mr. Edgeworth, thoughts? There is no record of a call made on the defendant Miss Lana Skye's phone.
She might have written him a letter.
Oh, come on. You could have tried public phone first, at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office where he was murdered. I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Witness?
Why do you think it was a suspect who
why do you think it was a suspect who summoned the victim that day?
I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim.
Why? This is just all your quote-unquote intuition. What kind of grudge?
Well, I wouldn't know that.
Of course you don't. That's because she didn't have a grudge.
Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside?
How am I supposed to know?
See, we agree there is a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels. Don't you agree?
I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty. The judge isn't very good with metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking this?
It's simple. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again.
Hold it? A human machine? That's a contradiction. Please. Can't you find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright?
Note to self, Mr. Edgeworth's sighs smell of citrus fruit.
Oh. You say again and again? How many times did she stab him exactly?
We often state, chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make? The deed is done.
Wait, hold on. He only got stabbed once, right? How come she's getting mad at me? Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that. Leave it at that. This is a murder case, people.
Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know.
Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really sets her off.
The short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact.
I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer?
Obviously, more scientific testing is required.
Lana Skye intended to murder. Okay, so it's the last one, and I have to do the autopsy report. Nothing else could drive it. I need to present this. See, 1 knife wound. Objection? You say stabbed him again and again. But you couldn't have witnessed that.
Are you testing me? Then I'll test you.
With my moss of surprise. Delicious. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states the death was due to a loss of blood from 1 stab wound. Aha! You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. Oh, Emma, are we the same? How about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness. I was thinking that too. Hey, what?
You got the crime scene set, right?
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood, but now I realize that such a mistake is possible.
So, you're saying you mistook something for blood?
When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice.
Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify.
Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was.
Okay, hold it. Her red muffler?
Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can be easily hanged at the moment notice, I suppose.
She's right. Miss Skye was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes.
Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest.
However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There's only 1 knife wound. Apparently Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance. Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out this fastest. Oh wait, okay, so wait, it just keeps repeating this. No, we've already talked about this short wick. Oh, look at the photo. She's not wearing the red muffler or whatever it was. Okay, present. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work.
What?
The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. Is Edgeworth changing sides? I love you, Edgeworth. And you proved it yourself with this photograph.
Huh? But that can't be.
Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good.
In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails.
What was my objection? Chopped liver?
But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red. Really?
Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business.
Oh, what?
Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that.
Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least.
Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony.
The most important part?
The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Okay. Apprehending the suspect, witness testimony.
After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile.
You are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you?
I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star.
That wasn't a very good metaphor, first of all. Cobra is a kind of snake.
Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten.
No thanks.
Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites.
She is cute. She's a cutie pie. Do you see her with the glasses? She's so scientific. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain.
She knocked my hands aside, knocked over an oil drum.
An oil drum? Hard to imagine.
Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. Apprehending the suspect. Cross-examination. Let's do it. All right, let's press the first statement. Hold it. So where is this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high.
She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do.
And what did you do then?
I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler.
Wait, hold on. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. So let me press on this one. Hold it? You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect?
As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time.
Maybe I should press her for more details? Wait, press her. How was she? She was on the other side of the partition. I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block, so you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes? Is that correct, Miss Starr?
Yes, that's right.
But there was a chain link fence right in front of you.
I went over it, of course.
Amazing, the cuff of Queen Lunch Lady athlete, indeed.
It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast.
Yeah, that fence is about 9 feet high, too. So how did Miss Guy not get away?
Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler.
Okay, I'm just gonna press all the statements like I normally do. She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say?
If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony.
Cheeky.
Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler.
Just that one word? So what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but someone else?
Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone.
Her phone? She can't mean... Ask further. By phone, do you mean cell phone discovered at the crime scene?
Yes, ultimately.
Ultimately?
My memory is like salmon heading upstream, you see.
No, the court does not see, Miss Starr.
The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall.
On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall.
Apparently it was out of order.
And so she used her cell phone? Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? You should, of course, add this to your testimony.
The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney.
Lana's cell phone updated to the court record. The word muffler was overheard on the phone call. Got it.
I saw it all, how she tried the phone on the wall, but had to use her cell phone instead.
Hold it. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? I was going to ask the same thing.
I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled out her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence.
Oh!
Then when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone.
And you saw her doing this?
What is it, Mr. Wright? The chief prosecutor made an escape, but against Angel Star resistance is futile.
She made to escape? Can you be more specific?
She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pâté of foie gras.
Huh?
She even kicked over an oil drum at me.
An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime. But it's strange. What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? True. The parking lot entrance.
That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries.
I wish we could solve a few more before finding more, though. So Miss Sky tried to run.
I'm sorry, my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright.
Not as sorry as I am.
But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side.
Okay, so now I gotta present something, I assume. Oh, wait a second, if she witnessed this... look at the floor plans. There's the partition. Even if she was still climbing over the partition... Can I present this? I might be wrong. But the music stops, so that means I'm right. Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias.
Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago.
Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this?
I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me and I'll make you cough it all up.
Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the backside of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. I love the dramatism. Order, what is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. Grr. Objection? That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie the witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about what she saw, where she saw it, or the order of events. Where she saw it. Because if her boyfriend was in the security booth, I think that's what it is. Miss Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie, I see. Let's say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I've ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask one question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Star witnessed this crime was here. I got it. It's the security room. Boom. Present. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are so many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, why would she lie about this? How many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today a man has gotten the better of Angel Star. Order, order, witness. What have you done? You used to be a detective, you should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Star lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. Oh! It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. The photograph is taken from there, though. So, like, she couldn't have taken the photograph if it was her. But she lied and said she saw it from Block B. It must make a vital difference, but what? What would change? Angle of view to the crime, distance to the crime, difference in lighting. Angle of view to the crime. And distance, I guess. Why the angle at which she saw the crime occur would change. The angle? What do you mean? Well, the security guard station is on the second floor, and, she would have sort of more of a 3D view of the crime. And this is important. Why? Perhaps you'd like to reconsider, Mr. Wright? What? I feel like that's vital. Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Okay, yeah, I get it. There's the security room. Is it the distance? Difference in lighting? What would the difference in lighting be? I'm just gonna go with the distance of the crime. If it's lighting, it's not a connection I'm making in my brain right now. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans is quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how it would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky? Well, witness? You... Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. Walked all the way down, and before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Oh! Oh, wow. So she would have been... Oh! That's why I had to go through the visitors parking lot B. It's quite a detour. And then climb over from there? It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have a photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? Raise an objection? Always! We always have to. 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with your 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run, but this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act that way. It's inconceivable. Yeah! Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. Witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth is the next witness ready to go. Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright! That was too close. I am afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, the court is adjourned. Okay, hold it. Was it her? It was her. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense's team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. Well, what's that? Is this another one of the trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! A triple-decker! Judge, please. Please. Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the lunchlet motto says, you won't be disappointed. What is she gonna pull out of her lunchbox this time? Witness testimony! Hello? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One, of course, was the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. The shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. Oh, was it self-defense? It must have been self-defense, right? What, there was blood found on that shoe? Try Lunchland for all of your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective, as I mentioned previously. This shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Nuh-uh. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution complaints notwithstanding. It appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of the evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Victim shoe added to the court record. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Okay, cross-examination. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. Why didn't you? Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh.
We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This, when the suspect is admitting she did it? But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with.
And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up?
And you found this shoe on the scene of the crime?
I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive.
So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe.
I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe is my secret weapon, if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen.
I am happy for you and your lunch bag, really. In any case, you removed the valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next.
2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One, of course, was the victim's.
So you brought it to the forensics department?
If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert.
And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it.
Well, the man was stabbed after all.
And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman.
As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. And the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye.
Hold it. You can't say for sure that the blood belonged to the defendant without a blood test.
You claim to know something about blood tests, Ricky.
Huh?
Well, speak up.
Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright.
Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of the blood down to just 1 person, or so I hear. That's
pretty specific.
If I had a little more time, I would have gotten a DNA test results, but they said that there's very little doubt it could be anyone but Miss Lana Skye's.
Oh, so the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. It ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that.
The shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
Hold on, I'm going to press on this too. I can't let this evidence go through without a fight.
You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, did you know that you have a problem? Do you or don't you have a problem with the shoe?
A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? There's a problem! If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction.
That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you can take the heat, could you?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with the evidence. Okay, so I have to choose something here. Oh! Can we, like, see shoe size or something? What if this just is not her shoe? Oh, there's blood on the bottom? Okay, it's not that. Move around here. I'm sure that we're gonna have to, like, look in the shoe. Which means moving it like this and around. In the shoe, maybe?
Take that!
Wait, wait, what did that do? I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Oh, it didn't turn yellow, so I assumed that I couldn't do anything with it.
Don't mess with me, rookie. Oh, it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe.
Indeed. There is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of the shoe? I don't know. Let's find out. Is it the picture? Taken by Angel Star after the crime was committed? Because there's no blood on the floor. The problem lies in the footprint.
The footprint?
Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found at the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. These two keep going after each other. Then where were they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort.
Order, order, order. Well, witness?
What? Huh?
Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction, but then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint.
Think, Mr. Wright, think.
Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions.
What?
Hold it. I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect.
The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one, a leopard woman. Rawr.
I thought that was a strange thing for a normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty?
Huh? Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory.
Witness? Well, was the oil drum empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water.
Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? You want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Ah! You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that will become evidence against her. What? Edgeworth, I thought you were on my side. Come on. That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs.
Why, that's the prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence.
That reminds me, Miss Sky's right hand was hurt. Oh yeah. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So there would be blood.
So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe?
Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial.
Mr. Wright, do something, please.
What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it.
But...
Or she's not trying to conceal it. Enough. There's no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well.
But Angel Star is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water.
This court finds the defendant Miss Lana Sky. Hold it.
Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution's side?
Well, yeah, you are.
You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence.
What? Witness, don't tell me you have something else. The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court.
Your threats don't scare me. Don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this.
Another photo? A photograph?
I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim.
I see no room for error in this evidence.
Mr. Wright, wait, look at this, the asphalt in this photo.
Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all.
It's not your fault. I knew I could win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. Are we getting a premonition or something? I'm sorry, Mia.
Right? Wet or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt, take another good look. Don't give up, not until the bitter end.
This is the last piece of evidence. Very well, this time I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Objection! Objection! It's not over until I say it's over. Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait?
No, it can't. Then it'll be too late.
Look at this photograph. The last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, right? Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the courts the problem in this photograph. Okay. The knife is still in him. There's like a tarp here. There's his hand. Is this like the wrong shoe or something? Oh, there's something in the exhaust pipe. Is that what it is? Can I present this? The problem in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor, you just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf in any kind of this photograph. Muffler is also a part of a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as a part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So what if there is something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to this case. You said as much in your testimony. What? The muffler. Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case. Oh, I didn't mean to go... Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to click on the badge. Okay. It's the cell phone thing. The word muffler. Here. Take that. Miss Starr. Recall your testimony for the court. Yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Yeah. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. How is it gonna end today, though? Well, it seems that we will have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I found myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. Verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Phew. That was close. But we made it. At least for now. This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry? To be continued with the lunchbox lady and everybody else. All right, this is intense so far. I like that Edgeworth is like kind of half on our side this time though. It's very fun. That's gonna do it for today's episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. If you guys are enjoying this, as always, leave a like and let me know in the comments. But on that note, I'm gonna say farewell, friends. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, we're not alone out there, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I'm gonna go dream sweet nothings about Edgeworth. Bye-bye.